Hey everybody, what's happening? I am the Admiral. That would be Tommy Scoville. And you're on the lifeboat. Hope you're having a decent day. And I mean that. As Tommy said it, he realized he meant that. I really do mean that. It's one of those days. Let's see who we got here, shall we? Let's see if we got anybody here. Hello, is there anyone out there? Hello, Jason P. Mrs. R. Garner. Mara. Now we can start. Yes. Sweet tea. I see. I'm in a foul mood. I click. Well, there you go. It's not wasn't my goal, but I am in a foul mood. I'll tell you all about it. Shannon Smith. How are you? Monk. I'm sorry. Good to see you, Monk. Sarah Bowman, how are you? Always an honor. Pleasure to see you. Seventh, Mara, Brazy, the newest nut. Kevin Hawthorne, speaking of it being an honor. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Always one of my favorite people to see in the chat. One of the kindest people that we have on the boat. I'm proud to call him a friend. I live for now. Good to see you here. Ree from Ree's Connecting. Glad you're here. Hey, Angie. West Coast Fancy Nancy. Hello, Casey. Casey, stick around. I got all kinds of fun stuff. You'll get this. Irrelevant Panda, good to see you. Just Pauline. Hiya. Good to see you. Bigsy, glad you're here. That would be Bigsy 1979, in case we have a different Bigsy here as well. Liz Tricks, what's happening? Meredith Lynn, good to see you. Jobo Baggins, it's an honor. Chrissy Akers, good to see you. Lynn Sanity, Swedish Lena. Good morning, everyone from Australia. Don Gloves, love you, Don Gloves. Layla, you like the pimp hat? This was a gift. Probably a little hot. I may go back to it. I'm starting to have a really nice collection of chapeaux. You would not believe all of the nice hats. And as you know, men aren't wearing enough hats. This is becoming a real problem. I've seen the meaning of life multiple times. Can't think of a better name. Good to see you. The Cheshire Cat. Wait a second. There you go. You see that? We've got a little Cheshire Cat action right there. You really did a great job on the Cheshire Cat, too. The face is just fantastic. Big fan of the Cheshire Cat. Scooby Lee. Lumen. Hello, Lumen. How are you? Hello, Bunny C. Dennis N. Dennis, good to see you. Armine. Lisa Trimble. How are you, Lisa Trimble? Susie Fitz. Good morning, Tommy. Love to your girl. Hello, Anna. The other side of the world. Other side of the world. Hello, Ann. I think you guys always lift my spirits. Seriously. Even when I don't want you to, it usually happens. Crafty Witch, how you doing? Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. Flick Fox. I'm here. Good. I'll go. Regina Patnode. Definitely need to get out of a funk today. You do? I do too. All right, we're going to try together. That's the goal today. Lacey Silver, how are you? Yeah. Wow, West Coast Fancy Nancy was in Lakeland, Florida a couple of weeks ago. Wow, see that? Kiwi Nan, good to see you. Hello, Michelle with just one of those. Wearing the pimpin' hat. Damn straight. I was pimping. Because I'm a mother-loving PIMP. You know the drill. Riley Schumann, how are you? There's Jeffy. He's back. I'm proud of you. Glad you're here. And we're going to fire this rascal up and take this boat out. And I'll tell you what's been going on with me. Linda K., good to see you. Now, Tamper June, how are you? I'm going to start by saying, hey, Jamie Palmer. Tampa B, there she is. Now we can officially start. I'm going to get this thing underway by saying, hi, Janet. Hey, Robin Miners. That there's never a legitimate to sit and wallow in my own anger. There's never a legitimate reason for that. There's never a reason to feed into that. I know my job, and my job is to stay sober. So letting this all out and talking through it, journaling. I'll be honest with you. I've let this fester so that I could come on and talk about it. I literally have. I know it's probably not very healthy, but this is what I do, right? This is kind of my gig. Hello, Marie Marion. This is kind of my gig, and I've kind of let this fester. And it's silly stuff. It really is. But I want to tell you something. It's all silly stuff. It really is. Piano Mom, it's not silly stuff for Piano Mom, right? For people who just lost somebody, that's not silly stuff. That's life-changing. That's horrific. If somebody just got a divorce, those kind of things that we survive, I talk about all the time. You know, when you start getting pissed off and you're at a grocery store and you're trying to get out and the person in front of you obviously has 17 things in their cart in the 10 items or less lane, and you kind of just want to twist their head off like a bottle cap, right? And it's really grinding your gears. I always encourage people to throw that on a scale from 1 to 10, right? Because that's probably about a 1 in terms of frustration, in terms of throwing you off your game, in terms of threatening your serenity, which always in turn threatens your sobriety or your whatever you're trying to do, right? Your abstinence from whatever habit you're trying to work on. Is this making sense? Let's hope so. Sam was on a while ago and said stuff I was very ashamed of. I wanted to say sorry to everyone, and I'm 8 months sober today and feeling great. Sam, congratulations on being 8 months sober today. And a bigger congratulations for coming and saying something like that. You know, it's a beautiful thing that happens on this boat, right? So easy to come in here and just assume people will have forgotten about it anyway. Most people probably have, but it's a classy thing to come in and say, the last time I was here, I said some things that I'm not proud of. It says a lot about the audience here on the Lifeboat. It really does. Now, I don't have any reason on God's green earth to bitch. I don't. I have very close friends of mine, people that I care so deeply about, I cannot explain, who are never going to walk again. One of my best friends on planet Earth, known since I was about 12 years old. He was my best friend from that day forward, from the very first time we met, just the best of friends. And he will spend the remainder of his life in a wheelchair. Every time I start bitching, I think to myself, boy, he's got so much more to complain about and never says a word about it, right? So I don't have anything to complain about. I'm blessed in so many ways. I don't have anything to complain about. I'm not a victim. I went to prison for things I did. I was guilty as sin, right? For real. Kiwi Nan, my 16-and-a-half-year-old dog passed away yesterday. See, that's a 10. It really is. Still feeling very raw about it, but it helps to be in this community. Thank you for not suffering in silence, Kiwi Nan. Thank you for saying that out loud so that people can say, you know what? Keeping you in my thoughts and prayers, right? For real, keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. I don't make distinctions between fur babies and other kind of family members. They're family members. Between the cracks, good to see you. Violet, good to see you. People, you know that I have a day job, right? I mean, I love what I do here, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is sit in front of cameras and talk to people about sobriety and about being a better person and all of the things that we do here. And you guys have made this so that I can do that. You really have. But I can't do it without a little supplement from some side hustles. I probably could if we kept all the money that comes in, but a lot of it ends up going back out to help people and to do other stuff. But I buy and sell vintage watches, and I try to buy them that aren't running, and I get them running myself. And this is where I can make really good money on flips. Hello, Julie. Good to see you. This is a big deal to me, and this is how I make my living. And so I'm back. All of my equipment is here, right? When I was on the road, it's very difficult to work on things if you don't have. I mean, first of all, I'm going to show you the inside guts here really quickly. This right here is that is a pocket watch, so it's very, very large. In terms of watch movements, this is the biggest one you're ever going to see in your life. However, it's quite small, right? Compared to a watch, it's bigger, but the guts and the inside of these, all these moving parts, this is what I do. And it's one of the most frustrating jobs in the entire world. I won't lie to you. It really is. These parts like to jump when you release them. They're under tension. There are springs. And if something flies across the room, it's a nightmare, right? It really is. Now, I can't see any of these things with the naked eye. So you end up with one of these numbers on, which has actually 3 different forms of magnification. So by the time I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it at 100 times magnification, right? And the first watch back, right? The very first watch I got to work on coming back. This is a 1950s Rolex Oyster Perpetual, kind of like the gentleman style first Rolex sports watch. Really, the one you want to practice on when you haven't touched a watch in a couple of months. So I said to myself, you know what? Maybe let's not work on the Rolex first. The next one that I need to work on is the Omega Moon Watch. Only this one is a triple date, and it has a moon feature, a phases of the moon feature. This does more functions than any watch I've ever seen. It's a chronograph, it's a chronometer. This is insane. But this pressure started to, man, I've worked on a watch in a long time. So you know what I did, as any great boyfriend would do? I thought, I'll work on Quib's watch first. Because if by some chance I'm not on my A game, at least it's not a customer or a client's watch. And I did buy the watch for Quib. So Linda Kay says, my dad used to fix watches. He was the best man in the world. And even when he couldn't do it anymore, he kept all his tools. Makes me think of him when I hear someone talk about watches. Linda, I'm glad that I could bring a memory back for your dad. It is a very, very frustrating thing. On the other side of that, when it works, you feel like you parted the Red Sea. You feel like you predicted the future, that I have invented fire. Like you really feel it's an awesome feeling when it actually comes together and you've fixed something, especially if it's 100 years old and you bring it back from the dead. You all saw the watch that I got for Quibs. It was on a red strap. It's white, 18 karat gold, absolutely stunning. It's a tank watch, so it's square. But when she put it on, it was running about 4 or 5 hours fast a day, which is horrifically off, right? That's usually a really bad sign. And as it turned out, it wasn't a very big deal. It was one part that needed to be replaced. And in under 2 hours, I had it disassembled, put back together. Everything was perfect. I thought, you know what? I'm back. I'm back in the saddle. And I started to feel good about myself. And here's why we're here today to talk about this for real, right? It's so easy to let something take you off of your A game. I was cruising along. I was feeling like $1 million because, again, I haven't done this in months. And the very first watch I worked on, not only did I get it working, but I have a device over here called a time grapher. And if I put the watch on this and I put it on in this position or in this position, right, I can test it in all of the different positions and find out how many seconds it's losing per day. It's a computer. So the one I just fixed, that was the Quibsy watch, I got that within 4 seconds a day, right? For a watch as old as it is, I have invented fire. I'm feeling very good about myself. And then I did something that I probably shouldn't have done while working on a watch. I answered a few comments, and it's amazing the amount of hate and the amount of vitriol. And here's the thing, people. I'm fairly thick-skinned, and I'm not coming here today to play the victim. I'm really not. I'm coming here today to bitch back, if you really want to know the truth. Because I think I need to. And I want to give a little advice to everybody. Because the funny thing is, if you're just a jackwagon, if you're just one of those people that gets their rocks off by saying really hurtful things to people, okay. I mean, they're getting something out of what they're doing. Always. If somebody writes something out and it seems just mean or hateful or whatever, they're not doing it by accident. Does this make sense to you? They're doing this because it fills a need in this person's life. What does that mean? Well, it means that they probably weren't raised right. There's something going on there that's not particularly healthy. God bless them. We'll say a prayer for them, right? But the people who write this hateful stuff are doing it to get something out of it. And I say, God bless you. If it's working for you, knock yourself out. And I can ignore them very, very easily. The ones that are tougher are the ones that kind of wrap themselves in this cloak of, you know what, I've been here a really long time, and I really do love this channel. I have a piece of advice for all of those people. Number one, I'm not a big fan of hypocrisy, and I will let you say some foul stuff. I really will. And I will answer it back. And I like a good rebuttal, right? Michelle R. Tommy, you always remind me that it's never too late to make things right. Every day above ground is a better one below it. because we still have time to turn things around. That's exactly right. Kim Roy, good to see you. That's exactly right. And it's what gets me out of bed every single day. For real. Well, it's fascinating questions. People will ask if I do like a 24-hour live feed, or I do a 5-hour live feed, or whatever. Then the weird questions come out. Hi, Barbie's World. Someone asked if we knew that the world was going to end. We got the news that they launched right on us, and we launched on them. And in the next, say, 15 minutes, the world ends. You don't much have to worry about catching a habit. You don't much have to worry about hitting rock bottom. And a lot of people were starting to say whether or not they would use, would you get high? Yeah. Some people said, yeah, I would. Why wouldn't I? I'm taking it one day at a time. If it's coming, I want to be wasted and at ground zero staring at it. But it was a very interesting thought process. It was a very interesting exercise. I personally, I don't want to get high for the apocalypse. If it's going to happen, I would like to meet my maker sober. For me, that's the gold medal, right? That's the Tommy did it. Tommy won, right? I got to the end of this road and I never put a needle in my arm, right? Tommy wins. So I don't want to tap out with 10 minutes left. That would be bad juju. But no, it is a point well taken, because it's never, ever too late to turn your life around. So somebody said a couple of really mean things. It is the same mean things that are being said every day, which leads me to believe that it's like anything else. You turn on the news and I remember a day in this country where the word gravitas didn't exist. If you're of a certain age, you probably remember. I mean, it existed, but nobody had ever used it in the zeitgeist. It had never appeared in the vernacular of politics or anything else. And one day a reporter said, well, he's got that certain zeitgeist, right? Which is a word that means, that oomph, that thing that just, that it factor, right? That zeitgeist or whatever. And in about 5 minutes, every single person on planet Earth was saying it. It got absolutely, completely out of control, right? Why? Well, because it's a friggin' narrative, and it all comes from the same place. Well, guess what? Stick around, dirty water. I may be able to cheer us both up. But there's this overwhelming narrative that everybody that comes in, everything that's coming in that is negative or anti is identical. It's all the same crap with some other person's signature on it. And to be honest, I don't want to block people because they don't like me. You are allowed to not like me. You can even tell me you don't like me. Just don't be a dick in how you do it, right? And I'm cool with that. But sadly, when I allow these people open dialogue, it becomes evident very quickly that that's not really what they want. They want to be a jerk, but they just want to kind of get a reaction out of me. And I'll be honest, this is something that I struggle with. I've gotten very good at not looking at things that people say about me. It's more difficult when that person is somebody that pretends to be your friend, right? It's a lot more difficult when it's someone who pretends to be your friend, someone who you think is in your corner. And it happens, it does. And it happens more with parasocial relationships. There's a phenomenon that happens where if you've got 5,000 subscribers or you got 7,000 subscribers, it is a very difficult thing to have a relationship with 7,000 people. You can try, and we often do, but you can't. And someone's feelings are going to get a little dinged. And when they do, they tell the world that, you are the Antichrist. It just kind of happens. And they're usually not kind enough to do it to your face. So they'll just trash you behind your back. And it's always nice to pull that thing out of your back when you realized it was put there by a friend. And it's the kind of thing that can screw up a day. And sadly, it can screw up a day where, damn it, I'm working on watches and things are going well, right? I hadn't lost any watch parts. Honestly, I hadn't lost any watch parts. Mrs. R. Gardner says, let it go. Yes, it has been about 25 minutes. It's difficult, and I apologize for allowing this to grind my gears. But September 21st, 2019, it started and it's never let up. It's just honestly, I believe it or not, folks, if you're a content creator that does this full time, we do let it go. I mean, we do. There's not a day that goes by that somebody doesn't make a video that's just about me. I don't go look at them. I don't listen to the trash or any of that stuff. But every once in a while, you let things ding you. And this one, I've gotten really good at knowing they're going to fire at me nonstop. And they're going to fire at Quibs. And that's all right. Right. And I know all the stupid crap they're going to say. And she and I have sat down and talked about this ad nauseum. Right. We have spent so much time talking about the fact that this is going to happen and we're good to go with it. And this wasn't that case. This really wasn't. This was somebody that trashed me and then trashed somebody else on the boat who's just a good freaking human being. So I got some litmus test here. I got some stuff that I want us all to think about. Run this through your computer and tell me what you think, right? For real. Go ahead and crap on me and tell me I'm stupid. But before you're done doing anything where we post, let's say, you're going to do a super chat, right? You spend $4.99 or you spend, $50 or $100. You don't want to put something up there that's not spelled, properly or you screw up grammar or whatever. So we proofread stuff, right? We proofread before we hit send. I don't think we read to see whether or not what we're about to send out passes the kindness test. For real. Because this is a very legitimate question that I would like everybody. And even if you've never done anything wrong, I want you to think about this. If you're sending somebody something and it's not nice, whether outwardly or the passive aggressive crap or either way, but what you're sending isn't kind, why are you doing it? It's a really silly question, isn't it? It's a really silly question, no? Why are you doing it? Well, obviously I'm doing it to piss the person off, yeah? Or I'm doing it to be mean. I guarantee you that the people sending these have never answered that question for themselves. However, at least here, because as I said, I'm not joking. The one I'm pulling out of my back belonged to somebody who is a crew member in good standing as far as the world knows. It hit particularly close to home. And this is nothing, to feel superior, maybe. But if you answer that question legitimately before you hit send, it's probably going to stop you from hitting send. If what you're doing on the daily, if what you're doing is just part of on the natch, what you do every day is cruel, then you really need to take a good hard look at your soul. I'm not even being funny. What does it say about you if on the daily you go out of your way to say things to inflict pain on others? You need some journaling, Haas. Right? Or sunshine or whatever the case may be. But trust and believe, you need some journaling. Where have you got to in life that you actually derive something from cruelty? Make no mistake, people, if someone sends you a text message, if someone sends you an email, they're not doing it for nothing. There is an aim, there's a goal, there's a reason, there's something that they want to happen from what they're doing. Make sense? Then don't be that person. Don't be the jackwagon that says hateful things and then, kick it around. And no shit, ask yourself what this says about you. West Coast Nancy says, a little self-examination goes a long way. Boy, you would think so, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Trouble is, there ain't a lot of that going on. Keep it real, there's not. See, it's just so easy. We don't even think about it. Our thumbs are going at double time. And let me tell you something. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it. Have I said things to people that I sent out just to be crappy? Yeah, I have. Have I done it recently? I have. I've done it probably in the last 3 weeks. I did. Am I proud of it? I'm not. I'm not at all proud of it. But I did ask myself why I was doing what I was doing. Um, oh, what I want to know is, are you kind? You're a much better. Here's a good one, people. Here's a good one. He who increases sorrow increases understanding. Yeah, well, maybe, right? Maybe. But you wouldn't want me hitting you in the head with a bat to make your understanding a little better. Are you with me? Here's a pretty good litmus test, a good barometer, right? I don't know your gods. I don't know who you believe in or what you believe in or who you pray to or whatever. Here's a good, this will work out with everybody's religion. I won't step on anybody's you know what with this. If what you're doing is moving you closer to what you would call love, right? That emotion that we all think of as the warm and fuzzy, right? That hug, right? Yeah. If you're moving closer to that, that's probably a good thing. But if what you're doing is moving away from that, if what you're doing is moving you farther away from that, why? Seriously, why does that work in your head? Why is that a cool thing? Because I think that's a very legitimate question, man. I think that's a seriously legitimate question. Yeah. Sometimes in my past life, I would just speak their language. Then all of a sudden, I was the crazy one. Let me tell you something. I went through this a lot in the joint. I really did. I mean, in the joint, you speak a very different language. I remember when you feel like that, Tommy, you need to come off the virtualness and be with real people. You know, uh, it's interesting that all of the real people that I know, all of them, I met this way, right? This is where I met all of the people who are real in my life. Peter, I love that, and it's well explained. Thank you, my friend. Here's Peter's explanation of his earlier comment, and I think it's lovely. The more honest we are with ourselves, the more painful it is, but also we more clearly understand things. And I think that there's really quite a bit of truth to that, right? The process of journaling and doing all of the things that we do, it is a process of exploration. It's the exploration of one's soul, right? It's the thoroughly trashing. Um, it's the thoroughly trashing of our ego, right? Of that BS that we project out to the world. We get rid of all of that and we look at who we really are, right? And yeah, sometimes that's a really, really painful thing. But it's always a good thing, in my opinion. Always a good thing. Jimena, if the people are capable of hurting people they claim to love, I don't have faith these trolls have anything good inside. I haven't lost my faith in humanity just because of this group. You know what? You're an incredible person. You really are, human, and I'm glad that you still have faith in society. This might be a hard time. If I were you, it would be a hard time for me. I'm impressed, but I always am. Pause for Andrea. Some people are just douchebags, Tommy. That's not who your audience, your chat is made up of. No, it's not. You're absolutely right. I'm not talking to any of you. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The people that hate me they're blocked, but they're absolutely here, and I love them because they've never missed a show. Honest to God, they've never missed a show. Right? The thousands of them that I've done, they watch every minute of every single one of them, which isn't such a bad thing. In the joint, all you have is your word and you never break your word. That's what defines you inside. There's a lot of truth to that, right? We used to say, you walk in the front door with your balls, right? And your, you're that's basically all you got, right? Is your word and your balls. And if your word isn't any good, your balls better be, right? If you tell somebody you're going to pay them on Thursday and Thursday rolls around and you don't have their money, you better be really good at fighting. I mean, that's just it. The difference between the inside and the outside is nobody's ever going to give you oh, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. I mean, he may say that, but when you turn around, he's going to go to his cell and he's going to get a weapon, because there's this thing where you cannot show weakness in any way. And this puts an interesting spin. I'm glad Russ said this, because this is actually where I was going with this. If you spend 13 years in an environment like that, and then you get out into the world and you actually want to be different than the person you were before you went in. I want to be someone that helps everybody, right? And I started doing that before I left prison. The last 4 years that I was in, I was living that way. I really was serving basically everybody I could. I was trying to help everybody in there, try to help them get sober, try to help them live their best life, whatever. It paints a bullseye on your ass, because kindness and weakness look like they go hand in hand in there. And it was a very weird thing, because every once in a while you'd have to thump the crap out of somebody, which was obviously went against everything I was trying to do. But now that I'm in the real world, the smart play is to not fire back. When these people say something about me or they say something about Quibs, the smart play is to keep my friggin' mouth shut and not say a damn word, not get into the drama, because if I say their name, they'll never stop, right? That's all they want, is for me to say their name. But it goes against everything I've learned in the last 13 years. It goes against the mantra, right, of what it meant to be inside, which I'm going to, if I don't do something about this, I'm going to become a victim. Instead, out here, you got to go, I'll just shut up and not say anything. And it's so frustrating, because these people wouldn't have the whats to say this if they were standing in the same room. Angie says, I've been a jerk. Text someone who ignores me after lending them money, and they don't want to pay me back. It's over 1,000. Wow. Yeah, I think that's kind of a different situation, right? That's bad. Yeah, that's bad business. If somebody tells you that they're going to, I never lend money to friends. God help us, never lend money to friends. I mean, and if it's a small enough amount of money, but boy, oh boy, it destroys friendships. Okay, I'll say it. You need to protect your heart and soul. Fight for the wisdom, as many would like to take your heart and soul and happiness away. Thank you. And thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. I mean that. Barbie World says, tornado warning in Tucson area. Please be careful. You know something? It's so beautiful out that I'm frightened. Because yesterday when someone said there's a storm coming, I said, oh, no, it's beautiful out. And then it was there like that. It came on really nasty yesterday. Thank you, Barbie World. I really appreciate you and the support. Sharon Dixon says, we cannot control how other people behave. It's only how we react to it. Does that sound like something I might have said? That life is what? It's 5% what happens to you, and 95% is what you do with what happens to you, right? I know these things, people. I preach these things every day, but it's so hard because I feel like I'm not standing up for my girl. I feel like I'm not standing up for myself. And now I feel like I'm not standing up for my crew. And I know the right thing to do is to not stand up for my crew and not stand up for my girl. Because if I do this, I'm just going to get in a pissing contest and my entire channel will be nothing but me firing back and forth. Ever seen that happen anywhere else? It's not a lot of fun, is it? Honestly, when you get channels that just start throwing crap back and forth at each other nonstop, it's not fun to watch. I mean, some people dig it, I guess, but not most. Felicity Mooney says, my father always raised us to never lower yourself to other standards. Try to look after your own integrity and love for an honest life. Your father sounds like a great man. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to pain. Pain leads to ABBA. You're funny. The day is always getting better. Right around the time you guys show up, it usually gets better, and that's the truth. The people you've met in the virtualness are real. Cyber life is a Shakespearean play. Boy, there's some truth to that. There really is. By the way, I love Shakespeare. You know what? Hope Between the Dreams says, that is so bizarre. I don't see how anyone could hate you. Seriously, thank you so much. I'll tell you how they can hate me. Seriously, because I do understand how they can hate me. And I'll explain it to you. For a lot of people, they don't like the fact that so I did crime. I went away, I went to prison for it. Then I got out, and now what? I get to be famous, or people know who I am, and they and give me money, and I get paid for views for what? For robbing a bunch of banks. And that's the narrative that the people that don't like me push. That they usually will say in their videos that I come on here in every video and beg for money, that I come on in every video and say, we need money to keep this thing going. I've never asked for money for anybody. I have asked for money on one show for someone else who we were trying to make something happen for an individual, but I've never asked for cash for the boat. I don't do that. I've never had to. This is a very generous audience that has taken care of me and the people on the boat from Jump Street. But that's usually the narrative, and they're very angry that crime is paying for me. That's the way they look at it. That crime is paying, and the funny thing is, most of these guys still would follow a whole bunch of other creators who talk about prison every day. I don't talk about prison. I think that pisses them off. To me, there's nothing glorious about prison. Like Russ and I will do shows on it. And the reason I like having Russ on is because it never ends up being the good old days. Let's talk about how fantastic. You watch a lot of these channels, and by the end of the video, I'm thinking to myself, dude, why don't you go violate? I mean, it sounds like you were having a really good time in there, man. You sound like you miss it. You're on the phone with your boys 4 or 5 hours a day talking to them. For God's sakes, go back. You'd be happier. I'm not that cat, right? I really am about looking forward. And I think that pisses off a lot of people, you know? And I refuse to be racist. And I'll tell you what, for a lot of people in the prison community world, that's frowned upon, right? I'm considered all kinds of terrible names that they like to call people like me. Tommy, I'm sorry someone put you in a foul mood. I think you're a kind person. Sarah, I love you. You're one of the kindest people ever. Thank you, Riley's Human. I have been very, very happy of late. I really have. It's you know something, Info Dump Truck says, I lend money to anyone who asks because it's a helpful indicator of who is trustworthy. Good info for the cost of $50 or so. Well, there really is some truth to that. And I remember as a kid, my dad saying to me, I was complaining about somebody that didn't pay me back. And my dad said, how much did you lend him? And I think it was like $11 or something, which at the time was a lot of money to me. But my dad said, boy, you got out cheap. If you could find out the guy was a lowlife for $11, that's as good as it's going to get. I feel like I used to live in the prison of my mind, shackled by the past. You got to go through the pain and growth to break those chains and live consciously. That's real freedom. You know something? That's a great comment. I mean, no joke. That is a great comment. And it's, I knew people, you could see them in prison who were not just in prison because of the building, but they were in prison because of their mind. And you could watch people like you who are in there, but their mind is not. And it's a fascinating study to see how two different people can take the exact same situation and get something so different out of it. But you can create a prison of your mind. And so many of us have, for real. I mean, we're all in the same boat that way, I think. Quick hi to everyone. I'm at Intermission. You know what? That is a dedicated crew member. This is a classically trained concert musician. And she said Intermission. I think that the thumbnail resonated with me. All right. I bet it did. We love you, Kathy. People, and if I could get a wrench to throw up Kathy's, a link to Kathy's page. If you've never seen her, she is so talented. She really is. And the music is just, it's the kind of music that you can sort of sit back and let the music take you away. It's beautiful stuff. There are, of course, exceptions to this, but I rarely regret something I chose not to say. Mel, you're a genius, right? You really are. You're a genius. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. My therapist is off for the next 2 weeks. She asked me my plan for therapy in her absence. I said the lifeboat. I love that. And there's Auntie Monkey Pants. Just because you make us happy. Thanks for being here for us. Well, thank you. I really appreciate the support. You know what? I never have asked, but they, they had a lot of fun. Like when I first became monetized, they made shorts, and the shorts all had people's names on them who had put up super chats, and they would write over it, "He's asking for money again." It was, and honestly, people, on December 4th, 2 years ago, I stopped looking at anything anyone ever makes about me. I never go over and look at it, and I got a lot of peace out of that. Where it's changed is now there's multiple channels, and we're very open with our life, right? Probably one of us more than the other. And I'm laughing, people. I'm not bummed out about that. So don't send me letters and do the poor Tommy thing. I'm kidding. Trust me when I tell you that Cribs and I talk about everything. Even if it looks like she's like I'm shocked with what she's about to drop on you, there are boundaries that we have discussed. And don't get me wrong, she'll get right up to him, but she'll never push him. She's a beautiful person. And Hummingbird, good Lord in heaven, people. The memberships are all over the place. Those are hot sauce packets. 20 of them. So many people are about to turn green. I love it. Nancy, buy my love. Doesn't sound like any good reason. Well, looking forward instead of backwards is what I like about you and your channel. Thank you, D. Marie. I can't afford to look backwards. Right? I can't afford to look backwards. I've tried it before. It doesn't work. I've tried every single thing you can do to get sober and failed at all of them. Right? Now I have found the one that works for me. It involves having very small, itty bitty little goals that I can accomplish throughout my day to make me feel like a success instead of a failure. It involves me looking in a mirror and saying things like, "You're not a loser, right? You're not a junkie. You're not a piece of shit," because I have spent years telling myself I was all those things, right? And they have turned into what's called ANTS. It's an acronym for automatic negative thoughts. And those automatic negative thoughts crawl all over your brain and tell you, "You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're fat. You're lazy. Your brother's better looking. Your sister was loved more by mom and dad," whatever the case may be. But it shreds you. And we allow those things to ruin our quality of life. That internal monologue that tells us we're not worth a fart. And we allow that to destroy our lives. If it is an automatic negative thought, maybe putting something in, right? You're going to have to manually put in a positive thought to get rid of an automatic negative thought. How do you do that? Like Stuart freaking Smalley from Saturday Night Live. Sit in front of the mirror and say, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." And if you think that's going to feel weird, you should try that click, click, click sound when they put on handcuffs. You want to talk about weird? You should try going to the bathroom with 40 people watching you. Or having a guy say, "All right, bend over, grab your ankles, right? And spread your butt cheeks." Lovely way to live. The whole concept of sitting in front of a mirror and doing things, if it felt uncomfortable, I was sure as hell. I was very aware of the fact that it was not going to be as uncomfortable as what I was doing on a daily basis in my life, living in that prison, right? That wasn't working. So if I was going to be a little uncomfortable sitting in front of the mirror and saying, "You know what? You're a winner," I got good at it. I got to a point where it didn't bother me. Positive affirmations, I did them. I made sure my bed was made every single friggin' day. I made lists of what my goals were. I wrote down what my goals were, why I wanted those goals, and what I was willing to do to get them. And I started to put out timelines, and I started to put out these things like, things I had never done before in my life that were so foreign. And did they feel great and natural? No, man, they didn't at all. Felt like kissing a cop on the mouth. It was the most uncomfortable thing in the entire world until it wasn't. Right around the time it was no longer uncomfortable, really funny things started to happen. Success in every part of my life, everywhere I freaking looked. I was more successful. I no longer weighed 290 pounds, 286 pounds, I think was the high. I was able to knock off 100 pounds. I was able to dramatically change every single aspect of my life. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, you heard me sit here and say, and I'm not a guy that, I'm very content living on my own. That's probably how I'm going to ride this out, because I don't think I can be that for another person. I just don't think that I can. And it's proof that you don't know what the future brings or what the future holds. I obviously have a much different philosophy on that today than I did when we had conversations about this in the past. And I think everybody should be open-minded. because you don't know what is hanging around the next corner. Might be a quibble for all you know. Good evening. Thanks for all the live streams. Catalina, thank you for staying green. And this is really a lot of fun. I like coming and doing this. I really, really do. I find this to be my happy place. And since my son has really stepped up handling all the administrative stuff, right, that I'm number one, not very good at. And number two, not as equipped to deal with it as I used to be. Since he started doing that, I'm having so much more fun doing this. But thank you for saying that. Angie said, you make our day better, Tommy. Love your honesty and your conversations. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. A man without self-control is a city without walls. It's a beautiful quote, Peter. Peter, I like I like the cut of your jib. I really, you're contributing an awful lot, and I love that. Please remember, you speak out about the things that matter. The rest is nonsense. Certainly, if it is just irrelevant trolls who clearly have nothing better to do, sad for them, but their choice. Yes. All right, my friend. Yeah, Russ. Russ works 36 hours in a 24-hour day. Get some sleep, my brother. Thank you for always being a solid friend. I've never reached out to Russ and not had him respond back. And the normal response is, what do you need? I can pull over right now. Right? I'm driving. Do I need to pull over? He's just one of those friends, man. It's a beautiful thing. I have started a playlist for all the ripples. Well, nice. I like to hear it. I like to hear it. Oh, thank you, Lisa Trimble. And I need to talk to Lisa. Lisa is in my 5, and I definitely need to talk to her. I've been trying to make that happen. It's really been one of those days. I'll tell you something else, people. This has been another challenge. So I had to pick up my my prescription, and I've never had more trouble getting a one prescription than I have getting this one. It was just an absolute nightmare. Everything that could go wrong did, but I got it today. And again, everything was going really groovy. And what I did is inexcusable, truthfully, because when I read this comment that was just really ugly and really hurtful, I could have just gotten rid of this person. Instead, I decided to look at every comment this person had ever left. I just wanted to see if maybe I did it for the right reasons. I thought maybe this is just the person's having a bad day. I don't want to get rid of people. I really don't. But I started looking at all of their comments, and they've been flying under the radar, just leaving one crappy passive-aggressive comment after another. And sadly, I read about 10 of them. And it was just, I shouldn't do the things that I do, but I did. Because you didn't ask. Well, thank you, Miss Sunrise Dawn, who has not smoked in so long. It's incredible. Hello, Lucinda. I was bragging about you earlier. The thumbs up are winning. I like it. My backwards is ugly and makes me feel ugly. Looking forward gives me hope. You know something? It really does. And I'll tell you something else. Looking forward and working with that crazy, absolutely insane concept of harm reduction, right? Being a little nicer to everybody, doing everything you can. Harm reduction does not just have to be about, okay, I went from doing blow to doing marijuana. It literally can be, are you one of those people who every time they send a message out are doing a little bit more to hurt every person you come in contact with? Well, then back the hell off, right? Do no harm to yourself or to anybody else, right? Like the Hippocratic Oath kind of a thing. Start honestly trying to think to yourself, I'm going to go out of my way to not hurt anybody today. Do you realize if the entire world did that for one friggin' day, if every person on the planet said, I'm not going to do a thing that could cause, even by accident, cause any harm to anybody today, you got any idea what would happen? Honestly. It would be really fun to find out, wouldn't it? But when you suggest things like that, they think you're on drugs or insane. Tough times, but you guys help make things better. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm not going to discount the fact that I'm here and Quibs is there. And that's grinding my gears. I'll be honest. That's grinding my gears. I love that info dump truck. I love that. If every day you're trying to make the earth a better place, you're in the right place. And I love you for that. I really do. And I believe you. I do. I would believe every person here that every day everybody here is doing everything they can to make the earth a little bit better than it was the day before. I believe that. Sadly, I think we're an oasis. I don't think that there's a lot of I don't think that there's a lot of people out there talking about this stuff. I wish there were more. And I think we're getting more. More channels are spawning that are doing this. This is really good stuff. New member, thank you so much. You look fantastic in green. You know, I'll tell you something else, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'm gonna, and I'm not going to make any friggin' friends with this. But I'm going to tell you really all the reasons I'm bummed out. And this was the last one, and I'm going to tell you it's a bummer. They do those you know how you can get like a memory and it shows you where you were a year ago or where you were 2 years ago or a post that somebody did X time ago? I was looking back at at pictures, and in the picture were a whole bunch of people, all of whom were diligently fighting to try to bring down the cult of Scientology. Right? It was a great group photo, but I looked down at that photo and I thought to myself, you know what? None of those people talk to each other anymore. None of the people in this photo create content with one another anymore. Right? It all went. I'm not saying why it did or anything else. All I'm saying is it was a bummer. I sat there and I thought when that picture was taken, people were driving, every car that drove by was leaning on the horn. The entire world seemed like it wanted to take down that cult. For real. Strangers were pulling up and dropping off 5 and 10 cases of water that they bought for the protesters. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. And it really was one of those things where everybody just wanted to take that cult down. And it's a weird thing when you flash forward and you look at it and go, oh my God, nobody in this picture talks to one another anymore. And for what? Yeah, I'm sick of the drama too. And I'm going to catch shit for saying this. I really am. It's a weird world, isn't it? But I'm going to catch crap for saying this, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I really do believe in the cause. And God forbid, if you do really think you believe in that cause, fall in love with a second gen. And it'll crank you right up for really believing in it. I'll tell you what. Flick Fox says, I've started making note of all of the pearls of wisdom left by crew in the chat to read through when I'm struggling. 16 screenshots so far just from this live. Good work, crew. You're not the first person to do this. There are other people that have been doing this for a while, and I love the idea. I really do. I've said it a million times. The vast wealth of knowledge on the lifeboat, what makes this place special, isn't me, and it's not Spanky, and it's not Mark or anybody else that sat in this chair. It's the fact that we were able to bring together a group of people that really do have a lot of knowledge, and it's amazing what happens. Why, thank you, Deanna Downey. What a kind thing to say. Monk, I love you, bud. I will really be 67 on the 22nd. But if I say 76, I look fantastic. You look fantastic at 67 too. Knock that off. You look fantastic, Ann Hummingbird. Comment. When we are here showing up and learning more about community and learning and sharing more about life, we can bring this to our small worlds. Keeping ourselves happy helps more than we know. I agree with you. I really do. And I'll tell you something. Hey, Mick Mags, I'm glad that you made a live. Welcome to the boat. Tamber June, it's a great comment. I think it's so odd how many times I've come here gritting my teeth, right? Ready to blow an O-ring. But when I start to share about what's upsetting me and what's going on in my life, by the time this show is over, I always feel better. I always feel mountains better. Tommy, I wish there were more men like you. I like this crew and this safe space. Well, thank you, Sarah Bowman. You know what? I think that any man can be a better man. I believe that. If you guys had met me prior to my 46th birthday, you would not have been very fond of me. I promise you. But people can change. They really can. Comment. People come into a person's life for a season. Some seasons are longer than others. Things change. People change. Some people grow. Some don't. It's life. Don't let it bum you out. You know, I think it probably bums me out in this case because I really, really, um, I believe in this connection thing, and I believe in this community, and I believe in this fight. And it's disturbing to see people who are fighting a demon, and that what really made the demon vicious in the first place was the fact that that demon forced people to disconnect from people that they loved. That really was the height of the worst that these people can throw at you, was this disconnection and making people stop talking to loved ones, stop working with loved ones, stop talking to friends or working with friends. It would be really shitty if we became that which we were trying to shut down. And if people are attacking one another as if it's fair gaming each other, it really just starts looking like it's just sad. I want to teach the world to sing perfect harmony. Do I have any old people here? I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. I would just like to see everybody be a little bit kinder. I really would. The universe has a way of putting people and opportunities or detours in your way so that you are here now as you are. Well, thank you, Shelley. I think that's pretty astute. I think it's pretty astute. That's right. Coca-Cola. It was a good commercial, wasn't it? It really was a good commercial. Yeah. Sorry, it struck me out of the blue. Come to Dallas, Texas. I want to give you a big hug. You know something? We're going to be coming to Dallas, Texas. I've got somebody there I need to see. I've been saying that for a long time, but there are people there that I definitely need to run into. So we will be coming that way, and I have family there. Joni Allen says that's the song I sing. Good. Oh wow, been a minute since I heard that song. Makes me think of the end of Mad Men. Okay, I never saw Mad Men, but I remember that song. I remember my dad used to get really tickled by it when I was younger. And I've said this many times on here before, but they filmed a lot of those commercials for Budweiser in my hometown. So like, da, 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 da. You remember that one they play every year at Christmas, and you see the Clydesdales pulling the thing through the winter wonderland? Well, that was always my hometown. And I'm telling you what, in prison, every Christmas, those commercials come on and show my hometown. And it was always the worst. I mean, it was the worst. It would put me into a tailspin that I couldn't even explain. It got to a point where, like, for the last 5 or 6 years I was in, I just didn't go anywhere near a television set, anywhere near Christmas. Like, I just wasn't going to have it. Tommy, I am alone for the first time since my mom died 2 years ago. You have all been such a huge help in my being able to feel secure enough to send my boyfriend away to spend time with family. Oh, it means the world to me. It really does. I could not be any happier. No, it's not over yet. You're right. Somebody said it's not over yet, and it's not. But you know what? Don't don't buy it. People are packaging up drama, and they're and repackaging drama. Making cool thumbnails to package and sell drama. Don't buy it. Seriously, don't buy it. Don't click on it. If we reward that crap, they'll keep making it. And if we absolutely cold shoulder it, one beautiful thing about what we do as influencers is if you fall flat on your face, people are going to stop doing it really quickly. Hey, Mrs. Cunningham. Good to see you, Mrs. C. Glad you're here. Hey, Goddess Divine. Rick Spicer, Wharton Thistle, carry on my wayward son. Debbie P, good to see you. Saguaro Christmas. Hate drama sends me packing quick. Me too. Here's the thing. Nobody likes it. Honestly, nobody likes it. How do you stay present in your day? Well, I'll tell you what. Very often, the vast majority of what I do during the day has little to do with me. I'm very often working with somebody, and I'm paranoid as hell that, especially with my declining ability to focus, I'm always afraid that I'm going to hurt someone's feelings with not being attentive and not being like vested in what they're saying. Because if someone's going to open up and talk to me about their drug addiction and possibly losing their kids, think of some of the things that people open up to someone who's in this kind of a role. I'm just always super invested in that, in the people, and it keeps you literally in the moment, right? I'm right there, and I would say that a lot of the day I ride on adrenaline because of drama, right? But this isn't manufactured drama. The drama of the human drama, the drama of what's going on in someone's life, that's real. And to sit and listen to somebody and shut your mouth and actually listen to what's going on in someone's life is so therapeutic and healing to them. You cannot believe it. But we're not very good listeners usually. LA Mac, new member, looking good in green. Hey, Nat B. Sadly, all the drama turned me off from many SBTV videos. The message has been lost. And this kind of broke my heart today. And I wasn't going to talk about it. But it was the very last thing with everything that was happening. And then the watch started, the second watch started to give me problems, which didn't make me happy. But then I saw this flashback photo of 6 of us. And there's nobody in that photo that still talks to anyone else in that photo. And you may not believe this. And I'm not saying I'm a great human being, because you all know better. But I didn't start a fight with anybody in that photo. I can't think of anything that I did that made everybody in that photo not like me, but I promise you that is the case. That's the first song I played by ear on the piano. No way. You're kidding. That is the coolest thing ever. Hi, Tommy. Ahoy, crew. Can't stay. Have to pack for a crazy early flight tomorrow. Stop by to hit the like and say hi. You literally are a world jet setter. I'm not kidding. Goosebump went from, maybe I'll go out and see the world to, all right, screw it, I'm catching it all. And it was just, I don't think she doesn't slow down. I only do drama on stage and in the bedroom. All right, Chrissy Akers has got a plan. I'm a good listener if anyone needs an ear. Did everybody hear that? That is a very beautiful offer, people, and it doesn't get put out there often enough. I'm sorry, what? He scored 40 pounds of free bacon while from Walmart when their freezers broke down. Lord Kiss Freak's a genius. We tried to get some milk that way from the Dollar General in Bug Tussle, but we didn't get up there in time because they got too much milk delivered, and they announced it on the Bug Tussle Tribune that if you got up there, they were giving away milk, or it was like $1 a gallon or something, which is pretty much giving away milk. Shelly, I love that. Shelly says, I don't pay attention to the drama. It's a total turnoff. If you're a content creator, did you hear this? So far, no one has said, ooh, I love the drama. Keep it coming. So maybe we could all get back to, the business at hand. You know what? Amy Rance says, the issue with SPTV is they were all part of a criminal organization. And they all traumatized each other at different times. They don't know how to be normal. And that probably sounds pretty ugly. And I'm not picking on you, but that sounds really harsh. But I think it's pretty true. However, I believe that they all have the ability to learn how, what is normal, but they all have the ability to learn how to do some solid interpersonal communication skills so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Because unfortunately, I think what you're saying is kind of solid. If you're taught things like fair game, and it's something you get taught your entire life. That doesn't just go away because you left the organization. I'm telling you right now, I've been fair gamed by people that were supposed to be my friends. And to be honest, I still don't know what the hell I did to bother them. I really don't. But it is what it is. Is Squirrel supervising tonight? Honestly, I don't know what Zipper's doing. Earlier today, I've got some great video I'm going to be posting because earlier today the two of us were playing, but she's it gets really, really hot in the afternoon, and she looks for a large piece of stone on the floor to lay down on. Margie Barr says the LA protesters haven't been on hardly at all the last couple of weeks at all. Well, I have the SPTV creators must be losing subs lately. No, yeah, they are. I think that there's a lot of the people who are flinging stuff back and forth at each other are losing subs. Right. The one thing I will say is it is really easy to put my finger on the pulse of my audience. And it's that way for any other content creator. If what you're doing is working, then you're gonna be rewarded for that in numbers. It's very, very obvious, right? And you'll see it or you won't see it. BBB says, so thankful for Kristen, Melinda, Spanx, Don Gloves, Plant Freak, and everyone in the chat. Man, there are smart people here. Yes, you are one of them. I was talking with Spanky this morning about this. There really are some very, very sharp people on the boat. And they never come across as people that are here trying to strut their stuff with their knowledge. It's an obnoxious thing when you come across someone and it seems like they're choosing their words in such a way to try to challenge you to maybe need a dictionary for a couple of words in each one of the sentences. Doesn't make you intelligent. I've told the story to Quibble. It's one of her favorite stories. But I went on stage once and I was trying to impress a boss of mine, and I had used a thesaurus, and he came up after the show and he said, man, that was a hell of a show. And I said, thank you. I was feeling very, very proud of myself. He goes, you got a hell of a vocabulary. And I said, thank you. I really appreciate that. He goes, yeah, you, me, and maybe one other person understood what the hell you were talking about. And then he got up and walked away. And it was like getting kicked in the stomach. But my boss said, there's a very valuable lesson here. You don't want to try to impress people with your words. You would like your words to be enough so that everyone can understand and that they're not boring. So maybe you throw in, you don't use the same word 16 times in your presentation, but you're not trying to dazzle folks. You're trying to communicate. Why? Because communication is connection. And no matter what you're trying to do in life, if you are not connecting, nothing good is happening. You able to relate to your audience. If I get 100 followers, I will finally start making content, says Hope Between the Dreams. It's funny. This morning, somebody said, somebody was asking about what would be, they were asking about a successful channel versus a not successful channel or whatever. And my response was, what is your definition of success? Right? What's your definition of success? When I started the lifeboat, I wanted to help 6 people, right? So right around the time we got, 1,000 people, and I could say there are 1,000 people on this channel, man, we had gone so far past what I thought success was going to be. And everybody said, you can't do live content. You can't go for more than an hour. You can't talk about, what you want to talk about. Everybody told me how bad we were going to fail. So I didn't care. I didn't care. It's the gospel truth. I wanted to help 6 people. If 6 people showed up, and because of Seventh Son and Charlie Murphy and all of the people that showed up in the very beginning who came to every single show, there's only about 15 of them, right? For a long time, it's about 15, maybe a year and a half, 15 people in every single live feed. Boy, we got a lot done, though, I'll tell you what. And with those 15 people, man, that was almost 3 times what I was shooting for. We were 2.5 times. So I was too stupid to know that I wasn't successful. And that, I guess if I had known what a failure I was, maybe I wouldn't have kept going. But funny thing happened. People started to change their lives and really cool things started to happen. So I'm glad I didn't listen to anybody because everybody told me this thing was going to be a failure. Everybody, even people I cared about. And they weren't being mean. They were basing it off of Good, solid science. Everyone else that tried this didn't do so well, right? But again, I had a different, I set a different bar for success, I guess. I missed something major 2 years ago. I was in a hospital where she lives. On Christmas Day, she said she was coming to visit. I tried to cancel. She still came. She actually needed me to talk to. Crafty Witch says, Tommy, you have a great vibe that draws us all together. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's a kind thing to say. I think that we all have a very strange disease and that we understand each other because of this disease. And if you're listening to me going, I've never been addicted to drugs, you've been addicted to something. I promise you have. And if you say, no, okay, when I give you the list of all the things you can be addicted to, you're going to come back and go, oh my God, because everybody does. Everybody does. I've never met a normie. I've honestly never met a normie. I have 5 gorgeous cats. Where is best to send mood boosting kitty pics? Wow. You know what? That's a great question. Certainly over on the Lifeboat Facebook group page, nobody will ever complain about cat pics. I remember when gravitas was thrown around in every broadcast, and I turned to my husband one night and asked him if I missed a memo. It was bizarre. Hey, East Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Hey, Plant Freak, good to see you. Success was me getting out of my vision and help people put theirs together. The connection through collaboration is wonderful. And having a very defined idea of what success looks like before you start makes this a much easier process, right? For real. Lily Bells. Angie Lou says, Tommy, replay crew. I rarely comment, but I want you to know how much I learned from you and thank you for what you do. Well, thank you for saying that. That is my drug of choice. I mean that. And you know something? Let me say this, because I think this is really, really important. This is huge. If we're cooking, if we have a great show, about 30% of the people who are going to end up seeing me are going to catch it then. That means the replay crew makes up 70% of our audience. I love our replay crew. The replay crew keeps the boat afloat. So if you're not here and you're not catching us live, please know I love you. I really do. That's why I try to answer the comments, because if you're coming here and you're catching the show, I do appreciate you big time. Izzy E says, Tommy, the key is you didn't do it to be popular. You had a message and people stayed because the message rang true to them. The boat has become a space for me to connect with others and with myself too. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that's really cool. Flickfox says, my trauma took my voice away and left me scared to leave the house for years. Being able to stand up for myself again is massive. I think trauma plays a big part in that drama and people not backing down. Yeah, well, and then, we did a show on this. Drama bonding is a very real thing. It's like trauma bonding. And there are people, let's be really honest, there are people for whom they've made a business out of it. They really are. There are people who have made a business out of drama bonding. Their entire life is on film and it's a train wreck and it's drama and people, it is what it is. That is a genre almost. Tommy, because of you, I decided that I'm going to start journaling every day versus randomly like I have been. I finally accepted that I'm afraid of getting better because I might get hurt again, but I might not. Brittany, you made my night. I'm not kidding. You made my night. That's good stuff. That really is beautiful stuff. Are Tommy and Reese trolling each other by wearing each other's least favorite glasses? What did she have on the Chomo 2000s today? Huh? Is that what she was wearing? The Millenniums? The Millennium Edition Weirdo 2000s? Because I don't watch her when she's live. I really don't very often. I'm in a job where my whole day is about communicating. Realized recently that it is likely because I have some autism, so I try really hard to understand and clarify. Weird find. Electric Boogaloo, I get it. And I think a lot of us are on the spectrum in one way or the other. I most assuredly am. Yes, those are blue blocker readers. I have to use those or I get ridiculous headaches. I think Seventh actually got these for me. Carry on says trauma bonding. Can you say Kardashian? Absolutely. Yep. And drama bonding, I'm sure you could think of 5 names to say right there too. I better not though. Then I'll get protested and people will get angry at me, but blah, blah, blah. Lumen knows what I'm talking about. Lost Mitten says, I'm done with all the BS. I can be the real me here with strangers who care. I love that. Strangers who care. There's a good looking t-shirt waiting to happen. So, y'all, I could use all the positive vibes over the next couple of days, says Plant Freak. I have made it 9 months sober and 8 months into this battle. Tomorrow I test drive a car. Nothing fancy. Nice. You know what? You don't need fancy. You need wheels. Wednesday, I look at an apartment. Things are moving. Congratulations. I could not be happier for you. And you know what? So is everybody else. Crafty Witch says, awesome Plant. Allie Graham says, I just joined the live, but success is different for everyone. I got clean to be happily bored at home with my husband and kids. Others would say boredom is the very thing that can make you relapse. Some people will tell you that idle time, right? Boredom isn't sitting with your husband doing nothing. That's contentment, right? Boredom is when you're not content. If you were sitting there with your husband and you were hating it and you were wishing you were somewhere else and you start feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, that's boredom. And I know this because on July the 3rd, which was my birthday, I didn't do a damn thing. My sister asked me today, what'd you do for your birthday? I said, nothing. And I mean nothing. I hung out with Quibs. We watched movies. We didn't do a damn thing. We didn't go out and get a big meal or we did nothing. But it wasn't boring. It wasn't boring at all. I could have done that every day for the rest of my life and been pretty damn happy with it. I really could have. It was a beautiful thing. Deeming, member for 7 months. Admiral, it's their loss. You're a good person. We love you. Well, I love you too, Deeming. I really do. And Allie, I'm glad you're here. Tommy, you are on my nighttime playlist. When I get night terrors, you make me believe tomorrow will be better. What a cool thing to say. Wow. You make me feel tomorrow will be better. That is the coolest thing anyone has ever said about me. I'm not joking. That is the coolest thing anyone has ever said. I love that. Trips Captain says, I've come to believe that half of what they call autism are personality strengths rather than weaknesses. I agree. Maybe it's time we drop disorder from autism spectrum disorders. I agree with you. Mile High Hokey says, SPTV brought me to the boat and Reese. Ironically, I now spend most of my YouTube time here and on Reese's channel. We're all fallible, but people who own their mistakes and learn and grow from them are the ones who resonate with me. You know what? Boy, oh boy, is that a great comment. Just Joan says, I got to go. Just Joan, have a great night. Thank you for spending some time with us. Really appreciate you. Carrie says, I found you through Aaron. I stayed because of your charisma and content. I got to tell you, nowadays, I stay for a chance to see Jake. Stick around. It's just a matter of time. See, I was wearing the orange is the new black. I actually got a text. Somebody told me to wear orange. So I said, yeah, I could probably pull that off. Sorry, but I had to make sure that I watched Quib's house and somebody was walking by. I had to make sure it was her. Katie Did says, my baby boy is coming home tonight. Haven't seen him since February 28th. So happy for you. Anna Banana, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Pause for Andrea says, Reese had incredible streams today. One with Keela and Dr. Gretchen on mental health matters and important revelations on her channel. I agree with you. I agree with you on both counts. I've talked to Quibs. I don't watch her, but I do talk to her about what goes on. Heather, good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's contentment, right? That's not boredom. That's contentment. Sitting at home with your significant other and doing nothing. That's just a beautiful thing. Maybe the dingoes ate your baby. Izzy E, I'm gonna you got pros, you got tons of ones coming from me. She says, if you got any in the folds of the couch or anything lying around, I think that's funny as hell. Let's see, am I getting close to catching up? I really did. I'm pretty close. Not the dingoes, yeah. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate Reese quite a bit too. And it's she's a trip. She really is. She's a trip. She's unlike anybody I've ever met, and I love that. But it was funny. I was walking today, and I just happened to turn her on for 5 seconds, and she was talking about her weekend call with everybody, and she said, "I talked about the new relationship with Tommy. I talked about this, and right as I'm walking by two elderly women, she says, I talked about my vagina." just as loud as I could possibly have it, and I just looked at the woman and went, "I'm sorry." She's colorful. I'm sorry. I love her. I really do. She's something. But yeah, she always she can make me blush, and there are very few people that can. For a guy that's been to prison, it's not easy to have someone who can make you blush. But Quibs is fantastic at it. Or you talk to your mom who you haven't talked to in a really long time, and she says, what's the deal with the elephant thing?" And I go, call. I got a call. I got to say, because phone call. It's somebody that I need to talk to for the next 6 months. Didn't they end up finding out the dingoes really did take the baby? I'm not 100% sure on that. I really am not 100% sure on that. Yeah, Reese is she's my Reese. You know, she is absolutely my Reese, and I would not trade her for anything else. I promise you that. But she passenger shaming. I was filming my the Zen of Traveling video. I was actually thinking of you. There was a very cute little girl that was having some problems with her ear, and she just screamed for an entire flight. I did feel horrible for her. At no point did I think, boy, would I like to throw this kid off the plane. Nothing like that, because I'm a much nicer person than that. I thought, boy, would I like to jump off this plane. That's what I was thinking. Uh, I love to watch Reese make Aaron say cooter, and he would turn down red. Yep, that was always fun. I went back and watched some of the old videos. Some of the really early stuff I did with Aaron. If those things still get views, man. There's some videos we did that really have a lot of them. I remember Dingo's ate my name says, I remember thinking at some point when I saw Tommy and Reese, I think on Aaron's channel, and I thought they'd be so cute. How about that? I know a couple of people seem to be ahead of us on that one. Damn. Yes, earplugs. I'm learning. If I've got Quibs on, I should probably be rocking some earphones. I should probably have on some pods if I'm going to be listening to my girl. She's colorful. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on game night. I really did. All right, people. Yes, for the plane and the crying child. That was an adventure. It really was. So I have a couple of other things I got to take care of this evening, but I do have to wrap this one up. This was a lot of fun, people. I love it when I can come here and hanging out with you for an extended period of time. I like going longer than an hour. I really do. I feel like I start getting into the groove at probably an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. It's nicer when you can go a little bit longer, but I appreciate all of you sticking around for me. It's nice to to have a full house. It really is. But a special shout out to all of the people that have been doing this since the first day I got up. Charlie Murphy and Seventh and the gang that there just wouldn't be a boat if they didn't keep showing up. There were days I just did not want to do that, but they would show up every single day. And if they were gonna damn toot, and I was gonna, and here we are, 20,000 people, and we're still going strong. So we will see you people tomorrow morning. Oh my God. Wharton Thistle. Thoughts and price. Can we get some ones for Wharton Thistle? Wharton, I'm so sorry, man. It's a very, very difficult situation that you're in. People, please let's keep our friend Wharton in our thoughts and prayers. This isn't easy. It really isn't. This is not easy. Yeah. Yes, and do me a favor, people. If you have not hit subscribed on this channel, please do so. It does help. It really does. Hit the bell for notification. That way, every time I go live, you will be guaranteed that you will never miss the Admiral, and you don't want to miss the Admiral or the cat in the basket, because I am Admiral Tommy, and this right here, this is a cat in the basket. Never forget, we promise two things. We will not judge you for the things that you did in your past when you were under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And we will supply more cat in the basket than any other channel on YouTube. Prove me wrong. All right, people. Between now and the next one, reach out and try to save somebody. Thank you for all the love and support, people. Bye-bye.